Now that's basically drama, isn't it? So that human desire for basically human-based storytelling is undeniable and has been there for literally thousands of years. And fundamentally, that's not going to change. How you, whether it's a book, books were new once, television was new once, cinema was new once. How you deliver that, in a sense, doesn't matter as long as you can get the people that you want to see it. If you can flag it, market it, whatever it is. And that's the key thing: is how do you, with the new platforms, is how do you point your audience at it? And nobody's quite worked out exactly how that's going to happen. But if you look back through history, you know, we now only have 4 or 5 major cinema chains. We've got a plethora of television stations, but actually they're all owned by half a dozen outfits. We used to have hundreds of banks. We've now got, well, actually probably today we've only got 1 bank left, probably if that, if you're lucky. But, you know, so there's always a sort of distillation down to a smaller number of brands which represent something, and where you go to because they're going to give you quality or whatever it is you're after. So that will happen. In the early days, we're sort of, you know, I suppose we're sort of Caxtonian in our, you know, phase of the internet. It's like we've just invented the printing press. What the hell do we do with all this stuff? So we're at that sort of stage, and it'll fall out. It'll aggregate. It'll come down to, you know, Bebo's. You know, the Google scenario is extraordinary. In a very short period of time, they've dominated. And there will be places where you will want your stuff to be played because that's where people expect good quality content. And it's simply, you know, quality counts, quality sells, and quality will actually earn you a living, fundamentally. That's what you have to remember. It's just got to be the best you can do. And I think what's interesting, and this small story, when Pete and I started making small animated films all those years ago, we were doing little bits of stuff for BBC Kids TV. And we made a short film, well, not a kids' film, but it was a very short film, 5-minute piece, very early live conversation piece. And it got entered into the Melbourne Film Festival. You know, 5-minute film, and we got a little award, and we thought, bloody hell, this is kind of scary. That little film is being seen in Australia. We seem to be on an international market here. And nowadays, it is absolutely international. You have got the world throwing stuff at the world, and how do you again make yourself stand out in that huge global thrust of contents being thrown out there? It is, you are on a global stage, you're on a massive international stage these days. Everybody can see everything almost wherever they are, and that's a big shift. And as long as you're aware of that, I banned out throughout this term world class. But you simply have to be world class. You know, that's what your aspirations need to be. That's what you're up against, because there are going to be people that are having those aspirations the whole time. They want the world to see their work.
But perhaps that's a debate for next time. Is rather than this seems to have been really production focused, but there seems to be less training and opportunities available for young people in terms of programming and curating and stuff like that. How do we get the best audience to see the best of British work? You know. Maybe there should be more opportunities for young people to look at curating and distributing work and making sure people access the best of what we've got. Perhaps that's something that's a bit neglected at the moment, especially with the new platforms that are coming out in terms of distribution and stuff.
I think that's a good point. I was going to kind of answer the question with a slight plug for an upcoming Southwest Screen project, which starts from the basis that nobody has a clue. And the people who especially don't have a clue are the industry as it stands today. So later in the year, we're basically going to lock in a room Endemol, Aardman, Touch, Bebo, Channel 4, Orange, Sony Computer Entertainment, Ogilvy, HP Labs, and hopefully some young people who are used to this technology and who are natives to this multi-platform. And we're going to just try and come up with some ideas, and we're going to fund some ideas which are about what this multi-platform world looks like and what people's ideas are, and kind of follow these things on, because Facebook didn't exist 3 years ago. Half of these things are very, very new. And from a kind of Southwest Screen position, I feel that we need to be the kind of the catalyst of the new idea. And we're all wandering blindly into this, so we have to try and do it together.
God. Key, I think content and stories are key to whatever genre you put it into, like entertainment, animation, feature, commercials. It's just the idea is the key, and I think YouTube and MySpace will fall through, and it will just be there for amateur sort of family videos. And I think people like Propeller, Current TV, and Atom are going to start upping their quality and start probably paying filmmakers for content to put on online, because it will be very, I just see a very user-driven content websites, and these guys want a piece of it, and I think filmmakers will start making low-end sort of budget stuff, will start making more money through online content, through these up-and-coming TV channels. I think that, for me, that's what I'm affected by now. I still would like to say that the love of cinema, I don't really know where paying your £6 for that sort of, where that's going to go. I just really liked the idea we had Slapstick in Bristol, and I just loved going to watch Charlie Chaplin with a live band there, and it made sense of why it started off. It was just like you're going out and you're interacting with other people, and somehow cinema, well, British cinema, I don't know, for me isn't like high on the cards of what I go and see at the cinema. And I just, maybe that's a funding issue, maybe that's an issue for another time. But I would still like some of these old traditions that started off this now really multi-platformed, crazy content, ways of telling stories to sort of thrive. I still like to see the love of cinema come back and through with British cinema.
Thank you. That'll do. So I'm afraid we have overrun, I do apologise, but we still do have downstairs for another 15 minutes. You're very welcome to hang about. I'd just like to thank everyone who contributed to the discussion. I hope we've addressed some of your concerns, particularly yours, Matt, on the future of British film and TV in Britain. Once again, my thanks to our panel, Joanna, Jeff, Mark, Gavin and David, and to you all for coming and taking part. Thank you very much and good night.